Hello and welcome to Two Guys and a Few Good Men. I am TJ Washuk.
And I am Garrett Lindbergh.
And this is Movie Lowdown for the week of October 15th, 2018.
And it's a special one. Happy birthday, little guy.
Why, thank you.
That's noises.
What do you call it? Confetti and everything, right?
Confetti, yeah.
You want to go ahead and get this started?
All right, well, let's get right into fucking MoviePass.
Welcome back, MoviePass, to the news.
Oh, man, so now MoviePass is under investigation by New York Attorney General. And if this isn't what we called at the beginning of this podcast when we first started, then boy, we've been calling it like it is. It's just been a pain in the ass for MoviePass. They just keep getting punched left and right. They're like Conor McGregor at the last fight. They just couldn't make it. And man, this is just really funny. Too funny.
So basically what this is about is the New York Attorney General, Barbara Underwood, has launched her own probe into the company under suspicion that they may have misled the investing community at large with regard to their financial viability. So basically saying that they had money for these subscribers when they really didn't.
Yep, and this isn't surprising. I think we talked about that at the beginning, that we were like, how did they not tell this to their investors, and how did the investors not see that? They must have been saying to the investors, yeah, we're perfectly fine with running it the way...
Yeah, we could do $9.95 a month, you know?
And they probably were fudging the numbers a little bit, thinking that they were going to be like Netflix and really have a subscriber. And it took off pretty big when it was like reintroduced into...
Mm-hmm. They just didn't have enough subscribers to hold it, you know?
No.
So just to recap, in 2018, the second quarter, they were operating at a loss of nearly $127 million.
That's a lot of money.
Can you imagine? How is this company still around when you're at a loss of $127 million?
Well,
That's insane.
They don't change up their plan. They have, but they did it in the sense to where you're going, well, that's more reasonable. But when you're talking reasonable's not what they need right now. They're in they're in the red, which is like, we need to be conning everybody that we can
exactly
to get, join
getting more money.
Yeah, because otherwise they're gonna fall on their face, and that's literally where they're at right now.
Yeah, and like we said, by the year's end, I don't think MoviePass is gonna be around.
Nope.
And this is just another punch or another check mark in their box of destruction.
Here's the deal. I think that if they really want to salvage this, they work with a company that hasn't started a MoviePass, like for their company. Mm-hmm. Like say, I know AMC has theirs, but Harkins does not have. They have their rewards
they
program.
should.
That they could say, okay, well here you take you take half of it, but we get like an extra $2 or $3 off of the top of it. Then they could pair that together and really make some money off that, because they have people coming and seeing the movies. Plus, they're going to Harkins because they know that that's a name brand, even though it's not everywhere. It's still going to be big. And I know that they're trying to do this around theaters, so they can do this for theaters that are around the coast. So, either way, they need to pair up with somebody just to get some revenue going.
Yeah, and that's how I feel like the AMC model is a much better idea, because they're already a movie company, and they already have customers that go there constantly.
Yep.
So they already have that infrastructure. While MoviePass, just came out of nowhere back in late 2010, 2011 area.
Yeah.
I think. And they had, and now look what's going on. They're screwing themselves.
So, but yeah, that's MoviePass. It's been an ongoing joke here, and it continues to go. It's the gift that keeps on giving.
Speaking of gifts, Amy Winehouse is going to be in there's going to be a new Amy Winehouse Bio Pic.
Man, she's coming back from the dead?
Right? So, she actually died when she was 27, back in, 2006? Something like that?
2000, yeah, whenever it was, 2007, 2000. 8 maybe.
Yeah, but you know, this is the year of the biopic. It seems like, or the I don't think it's gonna come out this year. Probably next year. But it's a lot of biopics going on right now.
Yeah, they're easy to make and they're super creative. So do you remember when Marvel movies became kind of a creative hub to go after?
Mm-hmm.
Now this isn't obviously, they're not going to make a shared universe. I mean, they really could by people walking past each other or going to someone else's concert. But like this is the hot thing right now is they got, you know, Rocket Man, which looks really good.
Yeah.
They had the NWA one that was extremely good. They've got, who else is, the Queen one out right now that's coming out this
Bohemian
year.
Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody. So there's a lot of these coming out, which is good for them. Excuse me. We'll see how well they fare as long as they keep going, if they're going to be any good or if they're just going to keep... if they're going to be bad or if they're going to keep on keeping on.
Exactly. So the characters in this movie, or the actors rather, it's going to be Chiwetel Ejiofor from 12 Years Slave and Joel Edgerton from Red Sparrow. The writer of this movie is going to be Jeff Dean. Like we're saying, biopics are in, and hopefully this one will kick off too, because I'm sure she has an interesting story to tell.
Yeah.
In her life, you know?
And she was really a sweetheart, so I mean, this is definitely something that can... I think that people were really tainted by her bad ways. Not bad ways, but just a lot of her personal decisions.
Her public image, I guess.
Yeah, her public image. So this could be good to like show a lot of a softer side of her.
And I know they had a documentary of hers, I think it was... Yeah, 2015 by A24.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
yep.
something similar.
Amy.
Yeah, it was called Amy. Yeah, and that won Oscar for best documentary at the time. So we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah. Next up, we got Jared Leto's Morbius movie villain reportedly revealed, and they're gonna take a different approach to the normal cinematic universe that they normally do. Normally we get a bad guy that's been in the comics and maybe they rearrange them, like Baron von Strucker in Age of Ultron, how he was just kind of like a very small bad guy, which in the comics he's pretty big and hard to catch. They find him and catch him really easily. So Baron Zemo is also like a really big character and enemy to the Avengers, so they really made him into like smaller roles. So we see that in a lot of Marvel movies. Well, what they're doing with Morbius is they're going to be making up the bad guy from scratch, which the character is going to be Hunger, also known as Loxias Crown, which is supposed to be a reported best friend of Morbius. So what do you think about how they're doing this?
I mean, a lot of movies that they've had where they have to make up their character hasn't done well. However, they kind of did it with Riot this year and with Venom, because he isn't too big in the comic books. I mean, he is, a character that's been in maybe like a few comic books, but he was never a substantial character.
Correct.
And they kind of did that with him. So with this movie, I'm looking up for it because I liked Venom. Hopefully they'll keep up the same momentum. I know it's with Jared Leto. A lot of people didn't like his Joker portrayal, but this is an entirely new character as Morbius. And I usually have faith in Jared Leto, his acting. So
yeah, and when it comes to origin stories, like I know this is probably going to be an origin story.
Yeah.
Best friends are always kind of the villain. You know, you always have like your rival, they're like your best friend, and then you turn into a rival because they're doing either the same thing or like he gets bit by a vampire and then his friend's like, oh well, I want that power too.
Exactly.
Something like that, and then it becomes...
It's like a rivalry gone wrong, basically.
Exactly. So like this is kind of cliche, but at the same time, like I'll hear it out until we see a trailer.
You can't really say, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But everyone is wondering if this is gonna tie in with Spider-Man or Venom. to be the Sony's universe. But I was thinking for if you're going to have Spider-Man in this universe, he'd have to be older because Eddie Brock in the story of Venom, he loses his job to Spider-Man because of Peter Parker, or I forgot what it was exactly.
He defames him, I believe.
Yeah.
And the funny part about that is that that's actually brought up in Venom.
Yeah. So I don't think it's going to be, like I was saying earlier before we started filming, that it's going to be Tom Holland as Spider-Man. If there is a Spider-Man, it will probably be some older Spider-Man, most likely around the same age as Eddie Brock, as Tom Hardy's character.
About like 24-ish.
Yeah, 24, maybe late 20s type of deal. So, I mean, if they do Tom Holland, I highly doubt it, but I don't know, you never know, because they might just, make up a story with Tom Holland somehow, messing with Eddie Brock's career.
Yeah, not even knowing about it. So.
Yeah. Another comic book story that came up in the news this week is Aquaman is going to be opening in China 2 weeks before the US.
So that means that we don't have to pay for tickets.
Yes. So it's going to be coming out in America on December 21st, but in China they're releasing it on December 7th. You know what? I'm not quite sure why they do these things. Is it just because they want to get money in China first?
They probably do. I think that the release rules are a little bit lax over there, so like they know that they can release something, and because I mean when the Avengers Infinity War came out,
yeah,
like even on Reddit it was extremely hard to get stuff that was reliable. That even like the week before they came out, now as people kept going to the movie more and more and pulling up more information,
yeah,
it kind of flooded, but that's what you expect. So I don't know. I don't remember what even Disney said when they did that with the Avengers Infinity War. I remember they released that about 4 days earlier because that was originally how it was supposed to be released.
Okay.
I know that it was like a couple days earlier the premiere was, and then they were releasing it in Europe on the 28th or 27th of April. They released it, and then they released it in America that same day. They just announced it. They were like, we're not going to worry about spoilers. We're not going to have people not getting it. So, like, I get why they move it up, but I never understand why they do it a little early at some other places.
Yeah, especially 2 weeks.
China doesn't normally get stuff early like that, so it must be that there is a scene from China, or there's some
Chinese character in here or something.
Yeah, so
some Chinese actor maybe.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, because earlier I was talking about a new trailer that came out with Jennifer Lopez, where she plays a store clerk at a grocery store, and she complains about she complains about all these people making more money than she is, and a friend's son overhears that and makes a fake Facebook account and then also a fake resume and submits it to a high-end company, and the company ends up asking for an interview with her. So goes on in the trailer, she gets the job, and then she has on her resume that she has a Chinese she can speak Chinese fluently. Turns out in the trailer it shows that it's being produced by the H Brothers, which is a Chinese company. So that's how they're getting, that movie into China, is because of she has to speak Chinese to this Chinese businessman. So they're probably going to have some type of, like we were saying, Chinese actor in this movie, and they must be, fairly popular if it's going to be 2 weeks before America.
I'll tell you who is not going to be in this movie.
Batman?
Batman.
All right, let's move on to our trailers.
Trailers! We got movie trailers.
All right, first up we have Destroyer, starring Nicole Kidman, Tabby Kebbell, and Tatiana Maslany. This movie is about a police detective that reconnects with people from an undercover assignment in her distant past in order to make peace.
Yeah, it was an intense trailer. That looks really... Like, I watched it the first time and didn't really watch it.
Yeah.
And this time I watched it and it got way better.
Nicole Kidman, I didn't even recognize her at first. She looks really drugged out. Her eyes are sunken in. I almost thought it was that... sorry, Tig. I almost thought it was the comedian Tig. I don't know if you know who that is, but she has like a similar facial structure. The lesbian comedian.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But Nicole Kidman, oh my god.
Yeah, it's supposed to be one of her best performances. It's 2 hours and 3 minutes, so that's even better. It comes out on December 25th, so obviously they're making it a big point to have their last quarter of the year.
Yeah, I mean, yet another movie added to the Christmas timeline.
I think we talked about it last time that the last couple of years hasn't been really good for good. There's
the
like
winter.
A couple of movies, like I think about it last year. It was Daddy's Home 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was really the only thing that I can remember being out at Christmas time. I mean, there's probably
I'm sure there was some, but I can't think off the top of my head.
Yeah, so it's really nice to see them trying to push a little bit more for that. So like in January, there's maybe some stuff that we can, like, if we're off or anything like that, we can kind of go and see a couple more.
Yeah, and it's that time of year when they're trying to win the awards.
Mm-hmm. All right, for our last trailer, we've got The Escape Room, and this is by Adam Ribitel. This was another intense trailer. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Like, week for in trailers, they're just like, whoa.
Well, it is that time of year where, scary, spooky Halloween time.
Yeah, but you'd imagine that would be like August, where all the trailers for the spooky stuff come out.
Yeah.
Because, like, this is for January. I mean, why would you do a scare? This would be perfect. They obviously missed their production time for October.
Probably.
Because this would have been a great movie for Halloween this year.
Yeah,
and they obviously don't want to waste it next year.
Yeah.
Wait a whole nother year to put it out after it's been filmed, which would probably make them more money because no one's going to go see this in January. I'm sorry.
Yeah. This is going to be a Netflix movie.
Yeah.
People are going to watch this on Netflix.
The trailer looks great. The trailer is really well cut. I think that they did a creepy song. They did even more creepier than the actual song is.
Yeah, I didn't think of that song as being a creepy song because it's like in weeds, and that's always like a
the
fun
song,
uplifting, not uplifting, but a happy-go-lucky song,
And then this is like, oh wow, we're getting.
It's very much like Insidious.
Yeah,
what they did with their songs.
So looks good, but looks to the point where I would say, yeah, definitely.
Wait till Netflix,
this because it looks.
It reminds me of Cube. I don't know if you know those movies. It reminds me a lot of Cube, but like more
Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, but more advanced because they go to different rooms, different areas. It's not just the same room.
I really liked the scene where they were like, oh, it's an oven.
Yeah.
And then like they're like, oh hey, we turned on the heat, and they're actually in an oven at that point, and. The big thing was like, it's Fahrenheit 451.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, let me just turn it.
And then it freaking burns them.
But we'll see how this one works out.
Yeah. For the most part, I don't really recognize any of the actors in this. I mean, they might have been in something, but they're probably just
Tyler Labine. I think is the only one that's been in like a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Other than that, like B actors in this movie.
Yeah.
I guess you would call them.
I wouldn't even give them that B. I'd say probably like around C.
Yeah. But I don't know. It looks like I said, looks like a fun movie, but definitely a Netflix watch. Okay, so first up for the movie reviews. We have Firstman. I went to go see. This movie, of course, is starring Ryan Gosling. I thought it was very well shot, really emotional movie. This movie is based off a book, actually. And Neil Armstrong's son, I guess, actually saw this movie. He said the accuracy of Firstman is almost perfect. So
Really?
that's pretty cool to hear. Because I looked it up to see how accurate it was. Because there's a lot of scenes like in the movie I didn't realize happened. I didn't realize there were so many people that died in preparation to launch into space the first time.
But that's one of those things, and I'm not just saying this, but it's just one of those things you expect with a lot of you just never think about it.
No, exactly. I never thought of that.
Because you got to imagine there's a lot of people that died.
I mean,
in order to get you up there, because we tested it on dogs.
This was made in what, the 60s? Like 67. We didn't even have cell phones. Our computers were as big as a room. I can't imagine like what it took to get up there with the limited technology we had,
Yeah, no, it's still mind-boggling to this day. I think that's probably going to be a question that people continue to question for a long time. Like, did that happen? Was it real? Like, we were, no one's attempted it since. What's the whole deal behind it? They make a movie about it now. I mean, I know they made a bunch of movies, but it's one of those things that like I'm still on the fence about. Like, just like you said, you think about how little of technology we had and how we got up there, and like just like, and I get that we have people in space at all times. Like we have people that live up in space. Yeah. Like
in the space center,
but we can't get back to the moon. What it's like it was 60 years ago. You're telling me that we haven't improved in 60 years to go to the moon and have something lively televised.
I mean, I think I saw
turn it into
no whole debate on that, but I think I saw something recently that NASA actually does want to send people to the moon again. So that'd be cool to see. Because we also have 4K now, we can see the moon in 4K and instead of black and white.
I mean, think about how big of a step that would be. Like you'd have people investing in space, because then at that point you make it very realizable that we can go to Mars, and
I think SpaceX really helped with that.
Yeah. So and part of me thinks that we are going to be going into space, but they want to make sure that they are 100% sure that this doesn't go bad.
Exactly.
Because you don't want to have it to where, like, it's the first exploration in 60 years, and it blows up halfway. And
exactly.
We're like, okay, well, we're not putting any money into that again for a while, so...
but yeah, this movie was very well shot. I could definitely see it winning something in the Oscars. To me, it was perfectly cut. I feel like the director the director and the editor did very well with it. It was one of my favorite dramas this year. Okay. I mean, I didn't know too much about the story. I know, very little. Yeah. So it was really interesting to see the behind the scenes, I guess, of that. And then Ryan Gosling's performance was great to see how Neil Armstrong was as a person.
How did he play off? So it was good acting.
Yeah, and then the character, I forgot his name. The guy that plays Buzz Aldrin. I should probably had looked this up before we record this, but it was pretty funny. He was kind of like an asshole. So I wonder if he's actually he was an asshole in real life.
Might be.
Yeah. But it was very well shot. If you guys, get a chance to check out this movie, if you want to see it in theaters, or if not, definitely check it out when it comes out to a streaming service.
Okay.
And then I had to treat myself on Thursday, and I went to go see Halloween. So this is actually the true sequel to Halloween. John Carpenter and the gang decided that this would be technically a sequel to Halloween 2 and then negate all the other sequels that came out before it.
Oh, okay.
Even like H2O, Halloween H2O, which was a 20-year... No, it was 20 years after the first Halloween came out, they made it H2O. And that was starring Jamie Lee Curtis as well. But this movie, I would compare it to the original. That's how good it was. The original is one of my favorite horror movies, and then sequels, of course, just lacked. But this movie, I would compare it to be as good as Get Out. honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it that much.
Was it funny?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the director or the screenplay, I think, Danny McBride had a hand in it.
Danny McBride?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there is some...
I think we're talking about that.
So horror and comedy kind of tie hand in hand.
They're very...
they're very similar. Because you have to have those, comedic moments.
Well, it's like punchlines.
Punchlines are very similar to like the horror jump scares, kind of.
Yeah, and you have drama, but drama can be pretty much based, built up or just shoved in there. It can be placed anywhere. Comedy, you actually have to Venom was a really good example of how you use in almost not a horror movie, but like an intense movie, like
with comedy.
Yeah, with
comedy. As opposed to Predator, where I felt it was oversaturated with comedy.
Yes, they didn't have any punchlines, so like all the stuff were just like oh, comedy here, comedy here, comedy here. There was no like sustenance to it. It was just like kind of like boom. It was funny, but you at the end of the laugh, you kind of feel like cheap sex. Like, you're just like, what did I just laugh at? Like,
right.
After a few seconds, yeah.
But yeah, this movie was very well made. Like, there isn't anything like jump scary about this movie.
Oh, really?
It's not really. It's not really. There are,
of course,
very few. It's not really a jump scare movie per se. It's more of like a stalker movie because Mike Myers is a slasher stalker.
But they did the jump scares justice.
They did have it. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't overdone. And the gore aspect I thought was very well done. There's some scenes that are gruesome, but hilariously gruesome in my opinion, just because it's like, oh, that's so crazy that they did that type of deal.
Oh, okay.
But the acting's great. I like that they made this the definitive sequel, and it seems like they might actually have another one after this, but it could be just an open-ended at the end.
I think that they're understandable in the fact that it's going to make money.
Yeah.
Especially this Halloween, so why not have another Halloween afterwards?
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that they made this movie. It's one of the better horror movies that have come out this year. And I think it was the most pre-ordered Halloween movies or horror movies of this year. So I can see it doing well throughout the box office. It's supposed to do as well as Venom, supposedly. So
it doesn't surprise me though.
I think it's more acceptable, more not acceptable, more mainstream than Venom. I feel.
Okay, that makes sense too.
I would think.
Yeah.
More older people would want to see this movie, I think, than Venom.
Yeah, people are gonna have the nostalgia for Venom, but they're also gonna have more nostalgia over the Halloween movie because it's been around for so long.
Yeah.
So.
But other than that, if you're a fan of the horror genre, this is a good one to see. And then also speaking of horror, we are doing the 13 Nights of Horror. Every day starting today, we will be releasing a new video discussing our favorite horror movies. Evan and I put some work into this, so I do hope you guys enjoy that. Other than that,
I also want to plug something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Our friends, Chocolate Starfish, are also doing should have asked them how to access it. I don't know if they're doing it on YouTube right now.
No, yeah. So our friends are doing a podcast. It's kind of like a commentary, right? A commentary video or a podcast where they watch a movie and talk during the movie, and you can listen.
Like what we were gonna do originally, but it just got to the point where we wanted to talk about the movies themselves.
Exactly.
I feel like we could go on one of those and just have a tangent without even watching the movie.
Right. But I will have to find the link and put it in the description here.
Yeah.
But the name of their podcast is Chocolate Starfish. Probably should have asked them what movie they were gonna watch today.
I think they changed it from Chocolate Starfish too. I think it's Chocolate something, but they got flagged for Chocolate Starfish. Which, if you think about it, there's a joke behind it.
Of course.
But the people that are behind the podcast company that they use are pretty smart, so they were like, we have a WebMD or what's it called?
Urban Dictionary.
Urban Dictionary. We know what's up. So
yeah. So Kyle and Kenny, shout out to you guys. I will put your guys' link in this, and hopefully we can get the name of your podcast next week, and also plug in what movie you'll be watching. I think that'd be kind of cool to tie in your podcast, with ours if people want to check it out.
Of course. So check it out. Check out the Chocolate Starfish.
Other than that, let's see. Do you have a question?
Do you think that the new black Spider-Man outfit that he has, the new red and black, do you think that is his new stealth outfit that they've been kind of teasing in spoilers?
Yeah, can you give a background on that?
Yeah, so they've been doing a lot of people don't go through the leaks, but I'm pretty religious with going through Marvel ones, and they had a leak with him on a wall, but he was like completely black, like. You could see his outfit was black, but you couldn't see anything else, and then like the spider insignia was white. Okay. It was really cool. It looked like
almost like Venom.
Yeah, it looked exactly like his Venom outfit, but obviously it's not going to be that.
Yeah.
But he just went on Jimmy Kimmel last night and showed off the new look with the red and the black. And my opinion on it is that I think that it's going to be the new stealth suit, and the red converts to a black. Almost like, Tony Stark's nanotechnology.
Yes.
Maybe like it can convert to a black, so it makes it easier for him to be more stealthy at night.
And you're saying that this might be from S.H.I.E.L.D. that they promote?
Yes. I think that obviously they know Tony Stark's technology, and they have people that are just as smart as him. Mm-hmm. So, but he's not going to be in this movie. Mm-hmm. It's not even teased at it yet. But Maria Hill and Nick Fury will be in the movie, kind of pushing Spider-Man along, whether it's the end or the beginning. But I think that they're going to help tweak his uniform so that way he's not going to be caught. I feel like if you go to London and you're the only person from New York there, like one of the only people from New York there, it's going to be pretty quick to catch on that you're there. So he probably can't be shown as much in the news, because they're going to be like, why is Spider-Man here
in New York, or in London,
yeah. So but that's the question of the week. What do you think that this new black suit is, how he goes stealth, or do you think it's
gonna be an entirely different suit?
So
that's a good question. And I remember, I think I still have it somewhere in my garage, a red and black Spider-Man action figure. I can't think of the name of the suit, but it's a really cool suit that they showed off at the Jimmy Kimmel show, and I really can't wait for this movie to come out. It's
so funny because we've seen more about the Spider-Man movie than we have Avengers.
Yeah, and that comes out later.
Somebody on Reddit today said how much of a kick in the dick would it be if they came out with the Spider-Man trailer before they came out with Avengers 4.
Oh my god. And so many people are asking for Mark Ruffalo to release it, since he's technically not working with Marvel anymore.
Oh, he's working with Marvel. It's just a huge stunt. He didn't release the name.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, like I said earlier, they've been doing reshoots forever, so they knew people knew, and they were like, you know what, fuck them. We're gonna change the story around. So Marvel's smart. They know what they're doing.
But thank you guys for listening to the show and or watching. Really try to make this entertaining for you folks. So please give us a like, and if you like this, please subscribe. But as always, I am TJ Washuk.
And I am the untitled Avengers 4 movie.
Thank you, and good night.
This has been a Two Guys production.